You've tried complicated color correctors to get rid of melasma, bruising, dark circles under your eyes, maybe tattoos, and it just left you wanting. Color correcting is tricky, but you can white out or darken out any issue that you're trying to cover and go over that with foundation if you're using a cream and wax formula. Let me show you how. I'm going to cover part of this tattoo by whiting part of it out and then going over that with foundation. And I'm going to do another portion with a darkened out and go over that with foundation so you could see what that could look like on a darker complexion. And I have a pinned post in my bio with me doing this to black eyes that I had after my rhinoplasty if you want to see this done to the face. It's the same technique. You're going to take the lightening concealer, wipe off a little bit of the tip, and go over the area that you want to cover. And the primary ingredient here is castor seed oil, but it also has a wax element to it. So it is very pigmented and very friendly to the skin and looks like skin. I'm going to put just a little bit more on there, and then you want to tap it out with a dry finger, and that's going to take up some of the excess. This is kind of pushing it into the skin and also taking up some of the product so that you don't get buildup and it doesn't look chalky. Okay, so now when I touch it with another finger, you can see that nothing is coming off, or very little is coming off. Now we're gonna set that with setting powder and then go over it once again. I'm gonna set that with the Cool Matte Setting Powder from Science of Pretty. And then we're gonna take our white out and do it again. It is very simple, but it is a little bit time consuming. Makeup on top of makeup requires a little bit more finesse, so we're going to dab just a little bit gentler, and we'll put just a tad bit more on there. Dab it out and set it once again with setting powder. Just tap it on. Now you can still see just the tiniest little bit peeking through, but this is going to give us some coverage also. You could do this one more time. 3 times is probably more than anybody's going to realistically do on an everyday basis, but then you just go over this with your cream and wax foundation, and you're going to get total coverage. I can set this with powder and go over it again if I need to, but that's pretty strong coverage. I'm going to show you what right up close. It is very lifelike, very skin-like, and very much concealed. Darker complexions have it even easier. Your skin may not be this dark if you have a darkened complexion, but let me show you what that would look like. We can cover this completely, and then we'll tap out some of the excess on the finger just so that it doesn't leave kind of a pasty mess. And we'll set this with setting powder. We'll go over it one more time. And if you're thinking you could skip the steps of going over it again and again by just putting on more in the beginning and leaving it thick and chunky, that doesn't work. And that is the secret that makeup artists know that a lot of lay people don't know, is that it really takes thin layers of makeup to get good coverage and have things looking as much like skin and not pasty and crackly. That looks like pretty solid coverage. We'll pat on some setting powder until the powdered effect kind of disappears, and go over this with foundation. There you go, total coverage. Up close, you can see it is still very skin-like. You can see the texture of the skin, but none of the tattoo.